views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Super welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Welcome to Transformation Talk Radio. Welcome to a lot of things. Today, I just love what I do. You know, today I get to talk about shamanic healing, traditional medicine for the modern world. I love this topic, and I love the book. Itzhak Beery joining me here today. And why do I love it? Why do I love it? Because there are those of us that actually had to go through this and experience this in this way, not even knowing what this is. And so today, I am so thrilled to be introducing all of you to this amazing, internationally recognized shamanic healer and teacher. And you're going to hear what his journey was like and why is it that we are looking at healing in this way in the world we live in, and we call it traditional medicine for a modern world. You know, we sometimes think that this way of healing, whether it's medicine, whether it's emotional, doesn't matter. We think, wait a minute, is it really alternative? No. What if, and we know this now, centuries of ancient wisdom that has always been here is now having an opportunity to come to the forefront. Why? Why now? It's great to have you here. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited about this show.
I'm so happy to be back and talk to you about it. We had so much fun last time.
Well, we're going to have more fun. So I want to ask you this. How does someone get to be you? Now, let me tell you why I'm asking that.
Oh, please don't be me.
Yeah, no, but
no,
listen.
be yourself.
Be yourself. But how did you get to be you? See, many people think you and I all of a sudden wake up one day and here we are. But there are mountains we had to climb. There are water slides we had to slide down. And there are a few things we had to learn here and there. What would you say for yourself has been the greatest learning experience of all?
Well, I think that part of it is not to be afraid of being depressed. When I got into my late 30s, I started to feel that something is missing in my life. And not that I didn't have a family and an award-winning advertising agency and other achievement, but I felt that like emptiness, and for a few years I was very depressed, and I couldn't see the light at the end. I didn't understand. I didn't know what the meaning of my life are, which is so naturally because all of us are experiencing that. But for some people, it's very discouraging, and I think that it was just the courage to go through the dark time and to really listen and to trust that whatever spirit, at that time I didn't know that, but that whatever spirit present itself is a learning experience and an opportunity, and that's how it happened to me. I mean, I read a book, and that book answered a lot of my questions. The book by Hank Wasserman, Spirit Walker, and it answered a lot of my doubts and self-sabotaging and questions about the meaning of life. And then he was writing about a workshop with Michael Harner. So I said, okay, all right. So there's another way, and I never heard of Michael Harner. But when I came back to New York from Hawaii, I saw that there is a workshop by the same guy. So I jumped on that opportunity. So, and I do believe that Spirit sends you opportunities and nagging you to hold on to it and to see if it's like you have to jump on the canoe to go on the river, and that's what I did. I think that it's and I can't tell you that it's all a smooth ride. Of course not.
No. You know what? I look at my life and I don't think it's a smooth ride, and yet at the same time, having gone through the bumpy roads, right? Having gone through the turbulence, if you wanted to use a metaphor, learning how to go through that and come out the other end of it thriving is so powerful and empowering. And when I'm thinking about this and I'm reading your book, right? And I'm thinking about, well, wait a minute, not just a spiritual being, then what? What am I? But let's start for a minute based on what I said when I did the introduction. And I said, alternative, I'm not quite sure why we call things alternative when the ancient history of shamanic healing is so powerful. Tell us a little bit about the origin of it and what it is for those people that may not even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The history is written by the victors, right? So, and the victors here are the pharmaceutical companies. And so they created dismissal title for all shamanic work as alternative to what?
Right.
So we have to remember that Western medicine, or the pill, the aspirin, or the first pill, just really less than 100 years old. And Western medicine, as we know it, is maybe 200 or 250 years old. Not that in the Renaissance there was the first hospitals, but at that time they were actually using, in many ways, the same methods that was used in the shamanic traditions. But what we call today modern medicine really started to develop much, much later, let's say 200, 300 years. But, that the people who control the media, control the agenda, coined that name to kind of like dismiss the shamanic work. And if you want to think about what shamanic healing is anything that works with the elements, the plants and herbs, minerals, waters, and all the elements that actually was responsible for the survival of the humankind from 750,000 years ago until today. So it's very powerful medicine. But in the shamanic tradition and in all indigenous tradition, there's one element that we all take also in account when we do healing is the work with the unseen world, with the spirit world. And there is no separation between the properties of the herbs and the properties of the soul of the plant. We don't separate them like we don't separate between between different disease. We all look at them as imbalance in the energy body, physical body, emotional body of a client.
Yeah. I think that when I am, looking at least let's just talk about, what you've put in this book, Shamanic Healing, Traditional Medicine for the Modern World. The modern world is in dire need for a solution that doesn't seem to be presented in the mainstream. Now, why do I say that? I'm going to say it, and then we'll take a short break and come back and talk about it. Is every day there's a new level of statistics that comes out, and it says, oh, wait, there's a rise in autoimmune. There's a rise in this. There's a rise in this. There's a higher death rate in this. Did you know people are dying from this? Including the dialogue now that's going on about addiction. And two things I'm struck by. One is, the latest dialogue about opioid addiction, as if there's no other addiction on the planet. And yet we know that addiction to the internet right now is like almost number one. But the point is that people are in pain, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. When we come back, I would love for you to take us on a journey as to how the tenets of shamanic healing addresses all and beyond.
Sure.
See, I told you we were going to have fun today. Told you. Let's take a short break, everyone. By the way, phone lines are open, and we have copies of the book to give away. 1-800-930-2819. 1-800-930-2819. Questions, comments, all of the above. And it's in this incredible book. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You've been running around, throwing that dirt all on my name. 'Cause you knew that I'd call you up. You've been going around.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
Hi there, my name is Audrey Michelle, host of Rewired Life Radio and a spiritual growth coach. I talk about this all the time on my show, listening to your body and acting on intuition. What do these things even mean? Here's the thing. About 10 years ago, I figured out I was doing it all wrong. I mean, I wasn't unhappy, but was I really happy? And then life sent me a spiritual smackdown, like it does, because I wasn't listening to my best resource, my body and my intuition. I was living from a place of fear. I was stressed and I was in pain, and I seemed to be happily unhappy. Mostly I just didn't know what I didn't know. And what I didn't know was that my body and my intuition had all the tools I needed to live life as my best self. I'm sharing the tools I have learned over the last 10 years of my healing journey in my online class, Soul Awakening, beginning September 19th. Learn more. Go to audreymichelle.com/awaken. That's Audrey Michelle, spelled MICHEL.com/awaken.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
What you expect, but you're not coming home with me tonight. You just want attention, you don't want my heart. Baby, you just hate the thought of me with someone.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. You know, the book is Shamanic Healing, Traditional Medicine for the Modern World. Itzhak, before we continue, can you tell folks how to find out more about you, how to get a copy of your book, other than me opening up the phone lines here in a minute and giving a copy away? But please tell folks how they can find out more about you, about your CDs, all of the above.
Well, I have a website, and it's just my name, itzhakbeery.com, ITZHAKBEERY. And I have pretty exhausting information there. And you can go there and you can send me emails. You can buy the book. And the book is sold wherever books are sold, from Amazon to Barnes & Noble and other stores, and for my publisher, The Inner Tradition. So, and they're doing very well in Amazon. They're bestsellers there in our category, which is really nice because it's really reaching a lot of people. And if you have any questions, you can always ask me.
Oh, awesome. Well, here's what I would like to talk about, because there's a lot that we could talk about. I know in the book you talk about illness through imbalance, just in one place, but it leads me to this notion that goes back as far back as we started to record things, where dialogue wasn't just about my body. I fell down and I broke my leg. I don't think we're looking at, carvings in caves that say, oh, I broke my leg. We just don't see that. We're talking about many, many things that has to do with the esoteric, that has to do with learning, with the mind. Can you talk about this idea of imbalance and, Western medicine versus traditional shamanic healing?
Well, I think that from the beginning of the human consciousness on this earth, they understand that there is a connection between the movement of the stars and the movement of the air, the rain, the weather, and our own physical experience. And then also with the unseen world, the world of spirit. And, they never separated our own physical experience and our feelings or the consequences of all of it. And I think that what happened in the industrial revolution, and then later on with the development of the digital society, is that people are trying to categorize and separate between feelings, between emotions, between physical, between the logic revolution, which is a very, very dangerous way, because human beings are not just logical machines. They're not computers. It's all combined of physical, emotional, and spiritual work. So in the shamanic tradition, that what they are talking about is they're talking that the world is have always two sides, like day and night, black and white, feminine and masculine, good and evil, and all of that. And especially the two sides in our body, which is the feminine and the masculine, the forces of aggression and the forces of intuition and serving and nurturing. So when one person becomes totally ambitious, totally logical, and cut off the emotional response, he's out or she's out of balance. And when a person is only receiving, only allow other people to give her instructions, she's losing part of herself too. So that is the cause of many ailments, the imbalance in the person's physical, spiritual, and emotional body. And then that's really what the shamans are trying to reconnect the person into the flow of life, to bring the connection of all of it together. And the earth is, in the shamanic tradition, the earth is only one part of the feminine energy is only one part. There is also the sun, and the sun is the masculine side. So it's the dialogue between, or the balance between the two, and that's what we see when we have too much of a sun, the earth is dying or drying out. When you have too much of earthquakes, there's no life. So it is all about balance within ourselves and within our environment, and the human balance, living in balance with nature and with the animals, with the trees, not taking over that.
Well, the thing that I had to learn kind of, in an interesting way is that energy is infused in just about anything. And so in the book and also in the work that you do, there are many stories. There are acknowledgments, there are stories of how all of this works. And, someone made a statement to me many, many years ago, Donna Eden, and everything is energy. And I didn't really understand that. But today, I am hoping to understand it better in the way I live my life. Can you talk about this idea of everything being energy and how it focuses or fits in to shamanic healing?
In shamans for thousands of years were practicing quantum physics and quantum mechanics. For thousands of years, shamans not just believe, but they know how to interact with particles, electromagnetic, atomic particles within each of the creation, to manipulate it and move it in directions of healing or reorganizing the order of the person's body or weather or other elements that they are working with. The idea is that everything in the universe is energy, because let's take yourself. Yourself is 80% water sometimes, and calcium, magnesium, and some other parts. But it doesn't really define who you are. It's what you are made of. And as we know, the molecules of waters are part of atoms and particles, or smaller particles and smaller particles and smaller particles. So everything in the universe is moving, changing, banging each other in different shapes, different form, different frequencies. Anything, stones, trees, water, clouds, anything that we see. The belief system is that the only thing that is actually permanent is that energy. And that energy is also part of what we are, which is the true us, and which is our soul. And the soul is the permanent energy within ourselves that is not attached to our body. It comes in and comes out of the body. So the shamans learn how to communicate with or manipulate the energies so they can flow in a what we call healing direction to rebalance the body. If the balance is too acidic or too hot or too nervous, to calm it down so the flow of energy will, the vibration or the frequencies of the body will come down. to bring it into more balance. And in the same way, so I think that you may want to look at that. And for people who are skeptic about that, is just think about it, that shamans, in many ways, they are not magicians. They really know how to work with the science of nature. They know that every element in every plant or every tree or every object, or what we call waka, sacred objects, have different qualities, different speed or different frequencies, and we are working with these frequencies.
Yeah, let me just say this to you. You know, this is how, for me, somebody like me, a girl from the Bronx, New York, right? You know, you would think, well, wait a minute. How do you get to be that girl and be the same woman I am today, having a conversation with you where I am so hanging on to everything you say, and this has been part of my journey. How does that happen? Well, one of the things that I'm struck by as I'm listening is there's a feeling that happened to me when I got to experience things that we're going to talk about when we come back. And what I mean by that is, you know, what is it about some of the ancient traditions that we bring forward now to help us understand how to heal? Ceremonies, teachings, techniques, all of these. How are these ancient approaches, how are they more than relevant in the modern world today? How are they a solution? And what was it that happened to me, my first sweat lodge? Let's take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back. We got a good one going on here today. We'll be right back.
Known for his keen sense of humor, contagious smile, and extensive esoteric wisdom, EJ translates deep spiritual wisdom into practical advice to empower you to live your happiest, most fulfilled experience. Mystic Living Radio, Deep Spiritual Wisdom, Practical Advice with EJ, Eliyahu Jihan. This hit show delivers profound experiences for all who want to live life to their deepest desires. Tune in monthly for Mystic Living Radio. Learn more by visiting vitaltransformation.org.
What if your body and mind were the compasses to the secrets, mysteries, and magic of life? Glenna Rice, co-host of The Questionable Parent, is inviting you to access all that is possible. Glenna is a 10-year certified veteran access consciousness facilitator who offers an amazing variety of life-changing classes and workshops. Work with Glenna from anywhere, with teleclasses and workshops all over the globe. To learn more and see Glenna's current schedule of events, classes, and workshops, visit glennarice.com.
Have you ever lost your way while driving somewhere? This can be unsettling as you don't know if you should go left, right, forward, backwards, or make a U-turn. Hi, I'm Eve from Elite Tarot, host of the weekly show Mainstream Metaphysics Radio, where we harness the power of the universe for happier living. As an intuitive coach and professional tarot card reader, I work with clients worldwide on helping them get back on their natural road of living their life with joy. Next time you feel off track, tap into your inner child's sense of joy and write down on paper the non-negotiable qualities that you're needing in career or love, but without limiting specifics. With your list, you know where to place your energy going forward and where not to. You're always best served when your inner child is at the navigation controls. However, don't worry, you still have the keys to the car. If you would like to schedule a personal navigation session with me, please visit my website at elitetarot.com. That's ELITETAROT.com.
Are you tired of being tired? Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know the adrenal glands, the workhorse of the body? They are the means by which you position yourself in life for whatever comes your way. Tiny but mighty, producing hormones the body uses to promote energy and vitality. These adrenals determine how you respond to stress, and when depleted, the body loses its ability to function powerfully when we need it most. The much-needed adrenaline or epinephrine is not available for emergency situations. Cortisone and cortisol The longer-acting anti-stress adrenal hormones can also become depleted due to the pace of our everyday lives. We overwork and undernutrition our most powerful ally that helps us to live the lives we desire. We are able to determine the optimum function of the adrenals and put your system back in balance. Contact us today to feel powerfully energized at 888-777-4232 or visit us at maryjanemack.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's so great to have all of you just tune in, turn us on. It's just really an honor for all of you. Thank you so much in doing what you do. I'd love to give a copy of the book away right now, Shamanic Healing, Traditional Medicine for the Modern World. Let's give a copy of the book away. Itzhak Beery joining me here today, 1-800-930-2819. And again, you can go to the website. You can go to Itzhak's website, find out lots more about it, or go to transformationtalkradio.com or the Dr. Pat Show and just click on his name and it'll take you right there. We're going to be talking about techniques. We're going to be talking about experiences that create more than just energetic changes. And what is it about shamanic healing that we have so seen work so powerfully? 1-800-930-2819. Love to give a copy of the book away. Itzhak, one of the things I mentioned, is, my first sweat lodge. But before we jump to that, I would love for you to share a little bit about some of the things you've included in the book. Everything from abundance starts with us to self-esteem. You've literally covered it in here. But I'm really, really struck by all of the various ways you help us understand the how-to. Can you talk? What's at the top of your list?
Well, I have 30 stories there, and each of them are very different in the usage of techniques or the story of the people who, where they come from, their history, but I think that it really, if you look at all of that, very deep inside, it's our own quest to be loved and to be whole and complete and held and really loved, but not just loved physically. What we want is really the love of the unconditional motherly love or fatherly love that totally look in your eyes and know who you are. And that's really a beginning of all of the journey people going through. And of course, each one goes in a different way. The narrative is the same, but the stories are very different. And I think that's really as you work in the shamanic tradition, you really have to understand that God, or the great mystery, Hatun Pachakamak, created all of us in this great mystery way. And we all pretty much the same. We all are looking to be loved and to give love. And if you can, as a healer, look at that in this way, that is all you have to do is really love that person. So the stories are very different, and stories about physical ailments and cancer or back pain or self-esteem or schizophrenia or others, many, many different ones. But I think that the issue here really is that, I think we talked about it earlier, that there is really no separation between the physical, emotional, and spiritual world, and they are all part of that. It's not like it's like a car. A car is not just the wheel or the body or the instructions. It's all of it together. And the Western medicine is trying to separate each of the elements. So our body is healed just as a body, as a physical body, separating from the emotional and the spiritual. And the contribution of the shamanic world is that it sees it as a one. And we do that through rituals and ceremonies because we understand that a person is a whole. And to circumvent the gatekeeper, the logical mind, we have to take the person for a full emotional and physical experience and spiritual experience. And that's really where the healing begins by changing the way a person sees or feels the world and feel connected to the whole. And it feels the love of Pachamama or Mother Earth that can carry him or her.
And I think that we are remembering. And can I ask you to talk about this a little bit? When I say we are remembering, I'm not talking about, I remembered to get up and, take my lunch to work today. Actually, I didn't remember to do that. If we're doing a little truth telling here, totally forgot. But we're remembering. I mentioned earlier my first sweat lodge, and for me, you would not imagine me, this girl from New York, New Jersey, entering into this ceremony as if I had been doing it all my life. And I was asked to be the gatekeeper of the door with the drum. And I was given a name. And, and I didn't stop and say, what's going, I didn't do that. Itzhak, I didn't do that. And I think when we work with individuals and share these experiences and really create an opening for this, I think we all remember. Do you know what I mean? I think we have this ancient memory, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. That's really what the ceremonies and the rituals comes to do, is to allow you to remember your origin, that you are part of nature, that you are part animal, that you are part tree, that we are all belongs to each other, that we are all part of the whole cycle of life, that you are not just a girl from New Jersey, not just a girl from Bronx or from Nicaragua or from Ecuador, that we are all part of this human and universal experience, that we are not. And so that's really what it's about. It's about re-experience your wholeness, that you are part of all of it. And one of the shamans that I work with, Ipupiara from the Amazon, you always used to say that we are all shamans in training, that we are all have the DNA that reminds us of our talent to connect to spirits, to heal people. We all are shamans. And then we also, all of us are indigenous to this world. So even if you are born in a apartment complex in the Bronx or in New Jersey, you are indigenous to this world. The moment you walk on this earth and you breathe the air and you see the sunrise and sunset, it does something to us. We are in that moment of aha, in the moment of this incredible beauty and of the mystery of this world. It reconnects us to the true self of who we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to ask you, what was the most powerful experience you've had to date? I love that you're laughing at me and you haven't hung up. But for me, I've had several. But one of them was getting lost in the high desert on a vision quest, getting lost in the high desert of California. on a vision quest. I'll never forget that, but I'll never forget what happened. How about you?
I wrote a book. I edited a book. It's called Shamanic Transformations, and where I ask over 50 working shamans, very well known, of course, to tell me that exactly the same question. Mm-hmm. What is that moment? What was the moment of awakening? Just something that happened, and each person, and including me, wrote some amazing moments that was really moving and personal and beautiful. And then there is another guy who from South America who wrote, or I think either him or somebody, Native American, who wrote to me that indigenous people don't have that moment because every moment is the moment of awakening.
Yeah.
So the probably the most powerful moment that ever happened to me is speaking to you right now.
Yeah.
And speaking to people who are willing to listen. That's and then the next moment will be another moment. And of course, I have quite a lot of extraordinary moments, in the Amazon, in the Andes, and in other places in the world, of course, and in New York itself, of course. Mm-hmm. But I think that that's really one of the things that might be so useful for listeners to think about it, is that every moment is awakening, important moment, is a moment of aha, of a mystery. And you can't just sit there and wait for that moment to come. You have to really absorb that moment that you are right now alive. And that's what I do every morning. When I wake up in the morning, I do 10 minutes of gratitude for every person, for everything that happened in my life, just to give thanks, because this is amazing. Just the fact that we are alive today and breathing and participating in that miracle of life.
Well, what's interesting about that question is that for me, I too have these moments every day. I mean, I love what I do. We have amazing listeners, but I think about the points in time where I've been most afraid. And I think that, a lot of us do that. We look at these moments in time where we've been most afraid and have come out the other side of it, right?
Absolutely.
And it could be any range of things for us. But the point that I think for, today and what we're talking about is you've included many, many things in here, including protection techniques, which I didn't expect to find in the book. And you know what I mean? I mean, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm reading the book and I'm going, protection techniques. That takes me back to the question or the comment I made earlier, and I'd love for you to talk about it.
Yes.
Everything is energy. What are we protecting ourselves from?
Well, in some cultures or in some shamanic traditions, and in the Kabbalah or in other spiritual traditions, the world has positive and negative energy.
Yes,
good
there
and
we
evil.
go.
Some cultures don't believe in that. Some cultures believe that everything is energy and all energies is the same, and it's just our intentions or just our imagination. That's one way of looking at it. But in the Amazonian and the Andes traditions in South America, they believe that there are independent energies that roaming around the world, positive and negative, good and evil. And the purpose of humans is to bring balance into the world. And like my great-grandfather, who was a Kabbalistic rabbi and a healer in Poland, said that his life purpose, or human life purpose, is to bring joy and light to the upper world so it will emanate and change the darkness of the lower world. And so there is always a fight between the good and evil forces. And it's not very much talked about in the shamanic teachings in our culture, because it sounds like very primitive. But we all recognize that within ourselves there is forces of darkness, shadows, and there is also forces of light. And if you can take that and work through to bring the light, the love, into the shadow, to have a balance, like what we talked very early in the program, that's really the work of human being, is to bring balance into this world. And the darkness or the balance, the evil spirit can come in many different ways. It can come from places of wars or violence, geographical areas, or homes or offices, which a lot of, I'm sure your listeners experience themselves. Or it can come from the form of negative energies that is sent by people, either intentionally or not intentionally. Like when you say to somebody that he's evil or stupid or untalented, that is negative energy that penetrates his energy field. And he believes in that, or she believes in it, and it turns into a shadow, into a trauma. So a lot of that is becoming traumas. So I was trying to explain that in the book, because not too much is written about it. Right. And I also included techniques that in the Amazon or in the Andes people are using to remove negative or extract negative energy from their body, from their energy field. And they can do it there in their homes, or they can help other people do that. I mean, I really wanted in this book to help people to use those techniques, not just write about them, not really to demystify the practices, so people can actually use them. Because shamanic healing is really useful practice. And it's really the proof is in the pudding. You gotta use it to see that it's working.
We have to be able to do that, and through the experiences of feeling that, of experiencing it. I mean, we hear stories all the time. We hear stories of all of a sudden reflecting on a diagnosis that existed 2 days ago doesn't exist today. And I wanted to ask you about this idea of faith, having faith. And I know you reference it several times. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about a different kind of faith. It sounds for many people like, yep, I know I've got to have faith. But it's also very, very important, or at least was for my own healing journey. And I want to ask you, isn't it one of the most incredible essence? Isn't it an incredible essence of shamanic healing?
Yes. Well, my teacher, Jose Joaquin Pineda, used to look at people's candles, the reading, and as he's doing the reading, the agnostic reading, and almost every time he was saying to people, you lack faith, you lack faith, you lack faith. And it's true that we in our society lacking the connection, or we are refusing to surrender to the great mystery. We build walls of logic. We do all kind of excuses and stories to relax into the flow of life.
Mm-hmm.
And really, faith is not about religious. Religious is very far away from faith. Faith is really about accepting the flow of the river, not resisting the flow of the river. To understand that you are sent here on a mission, and even without knowing or understanding what it is, that sickness, that ailment that you develop, or that meeting that you had with that person, that depression, that joy, all of them are part of the plan or part of that flow that you are called to experience. And I believe that we lost that faith because we grew up in the last 100 or so years to experience separateness, to cut off the community, to cut ourselves off of nature, to build better isolated apartment building with more air conditioning, with more heat, to get better clothing so we would not feel the changes of the seasons. If we go to the river, we have a swimsuit that is covering all our body. So all of it is about separating ourselves from nature. And then when you separate ourselves from nature and from community, then you lose the essence of faith, which is sad, because really when you start to flow in that river of life, of faith, you understand more, and you allow the healing of the shamanic healing to work better in your body.
You know, there are many, many things that I think that we can talk about. I would love to ask you this last question, and there are so many things in here. I love some of the letters in here and things that people have written. What would be your message for those of us that are in the modern world, really knee deep in the modern world? What's our starting point? Where do we begin the journey?
I think it's a great question, but I think that we all have. What I found out, a lot of people who are starting to be called to do the shamanic work had a childhood memory that they were very close to nature, that they spoke to the mountains, they spoke to an animal, that they got lost in somewhere, that something that is connected them to nature. And when they get to midlife or get a little older, their soul is yearning to reconnect with that. So what I would say is that close your eyes and really try to see what is a moment in your life, in your early childhood, that you knew that you are part of that world, that you are not separated, that you were part of the earth and the wind and the animals, that you felt loved. And reconnect to that experience, to that moment. That is the moment of faith. That is the moment of healing. That's the moment that you can start to work from.
Thank you so much for everything. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
My real purpose of this book was to bring the two systems together, not to separate them, not to say that the shamanic work is the only way and the Western work is the only way. It's to bring them, the two of them together, to work together, to marry them together, and so it can be offered as in the future insurance that will honor the ancient tradition and bring in the full experience to a patient. And I had experiences, a friend of mine who was a healer, great healer, who had cancer and refused to take Western medicine, which is the same stubbornness that some people in the Western world that don't want to take shamanic work.
Right.
So I think that we really need to create a dialogue to take the good things in both areas.
Yes.
Because the technology today can save a lot of people.
Yes.
I'm not saying the hospital itself, because we have, as I wrote in the book, where more than 1,000 people die in hospitals every day from preventable causes.
Yeah.
Not that, but there are some parts, some of the diagnostics, some of the procedures that our Western medicine is fantastic. But we need to combine them both. We need to create a medicine that uses the human experience of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years, that works with spirit, emotions, and physical, with nature, with the new technologies.
Oh, I agree completely. And you know what? We'll have to talk about that when you come back. Itzhak, thank you so much for today. Wow.
You're very, very welcome, and thank you for having me again. I'm looking forward for the next time.
Yeah, boy, I think we're going to talk about that. Let's thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. Shamanic healing, traditional medicine for the modern world. We're going to take a short break, and more coming up on Transformation Talk Radio.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.